Hey guys, welcome back. It's a lovely day, it's snowing outside. You can't really see it falling though, but anyways, I wanted to show you a video today about my medieval 172nd armies. These are the first 172nd scale armies I started with to paint and to assembly, and and they're looking out lovely. The furthest I got is with my English army. I'm basically painting up three armies, constructing three armies. One is the holy crusaders, the knights, and these are basically, in my game at least, these are elite. These are because a crusader knight or a teutonic knight, and my army is constructed of all different types of them, as you can see here in their uniforms. And you had a variety of different orders of knights, but most were elite and only recruited knights that were already had proven their skill and bravery in battle, their courage in battle, or either they could play a very important political part and were also of nobility. But the main thing was that these were, well trained, well-equipped troops. And one of the toughest of these was actually the Templars, because at the Templar Knights, they have to give up whatever their belongings were to the church. And so if you can imagine a knight being from nobility, having his own land, being extremely wealthy, and then to give all that up for a life of training and war and to serve the church. So these guys were absolute elite. And so in my army, this is one of the smaller armies I have, but they will be a tough nut to crack. Now moving on to the English. In the back you can see the kits I used. And this is my biggest army yet. It's gonna be made up of about 22 to 23 different units. And the reason for that is being that the English didn't really have a character of their own in terms of armies in the medieval era. Their main adversary was France, and France was very chivalrous, and chivalry was really integrated into society in France from top to bottom. How it was organized, how the armies fought. So, and they stuck with that. And while the British, the English, they had knights as well, but they developed way more in technology and different types of weapons and training. And some examples of these are the longbow archers right here. Now, a longbow archer was basically a long bow, as the name says, made of both flexible and very strong wood. And an English longbow archer will be trained from early age to develop the muscle, toughness, and strength to pull these incredibly powerful bows, and fitted them with an armored piercing tip on the arrow. They could easily penetrate French knight armor. Now here you can see some of these longbows, and they have a wooden stake in front of them, and this is to repel and scare off any horses that come in a cavalry charge. Here are some bannermen with halberdiers. And this is also a very interesting thing. Like I said, the English, had a way more varied force. So that's why I put a lot of effort into this army, because they're simply so interesting. The English were also one of the first that used artillery in Europe, gunpowder artillery. And here you see one of these pieces with a breech load actually. Now these weren't very effective at the time, but because their lack of accuracy. But if you did manage to get a hit on a solid pack of formation of infantry, the result will be quite devastating. Moving on to this one here, and this is also a very cool kit. It has three spikes in front of it, but this is actually just to to keep a cavalry force away with the same purpose as the archers. It's wheel weapons, and I don't know if you can see it very well. Oh, it's 10 barrels above the spikes, and these would be fired, um, when the enemy came close range. And again, not very effective, but you can imagine the French have never heard, I've never seen artillery or explosions, and all of a sudden you get these these guns there pounding away at them, and that cost the French, that cost them severely in morale points right there. Um, these are some English knights. Oh shit, there goes one. And I gave these a lot of different colors actually, because knights actually had their own little states within a country and their own banners, and when war came, the king would issue orders out to upon these landlords and the nobility of knights, and they would come up with their servants, their men at arms, and to back them up, and these would be the armies created. So, and what I got here is a knight, which I think looks pretty cool. Still have to paint up the shield here. And here I got some men at arms, and also here you can see that the English use different types of weapons. They invested some in crossbows and even in early gunpowder guns, Yeah, here are some lancers. So I'm gonna move on to the French now. The French army, I'm gonna make a huge French army to counter the English as adversaries. But I still have a lot of work to do on these. And as you can see, the French army is much more chivalrous. It lacks the technology the English has, and to put something against and compete with the English artillery, I decided to get this old kit out from, I believe it was Zvezda, with these arc ballistas, and they actually look very nice. And here you can see that the French just lack the artillery the English has, and it's a much more chivalrous force. It has tons of knights. And it has crossbows to try to counter the English longbow, but actually the crossbow could not reach as far as the longbow, and the longbow could be fired in much faster volleys. So that will prove devastating time and again for the French. Here you see some French cavalry and some lancers here I painted. And some of the English I already bought, but most of them I painted up myself. There's a crossbow unit. So there's still a very lot more work to do on the French, and this is basically the royal, the command of them, of the king. So that for now are my medieval armies. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.